So there's been lots of discussion in the last few months, even some today, in fact, about where ads appear online. The Times have been investigating into YouTube, and maybe that's a good reminder to people that context, one of our themes for today, is just as important in the digital environment as it is actually in the offline world, where I think we've got a grip of it.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we've spent quite a long time over the last few years trying to make sure that our clients' advertising is delivered in view, that they're actually seeing it and it's being viewed by actual real people. So we're trying to mitigate fraud as much as we can. I think we're in pretty good shape there now. We've got the technologies, the third-party verification of our delivery is pretty accurate. But what we've started to think about now is, I think over the last few years we've begun to view everything as brand safe. We need to be in a brand safe environment, and what we've moved away from a little bit perhaps is the quality environment. So we're using those two terms effectively interchangeably. We're saying brand safe for everything, but we're not splitting out the quality from that. So a quality environment is just brand safe, etc. I don't believe that is in the best interests of advertisers. I believe that there is a positive effect for advertising in a higher quality environment, and that's what we're setting out to prove.
Okay, so obviously, if you think about the wider media landscape, this is obviously a challenge for us and for our publishers and everyone, that kind of stakeholders that make up Newsworks. But any publisher and any medium that makes quality professional content, I think News UK have used a term recently, which is professionally generated content, which kind of goes against that user-generated content. I'm guessing you'll agree with me on that one.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's particularly pertinent in the digital world, though, because it is really the only channel where anybody can create a piece of content, can upload it onto a tech platform and have millions of people viewing it straight away. That's just not possible in a broadcast or a printed environment, at least not anywhere near to the same degree. So, at GroupM we bought into that a few years ago, and we set up something called the GroupM Supply Marketplace. Most publishers here will be familiar with that. Most of you will provide inventory into it, which we believe is the highest possible source of inventory that we make available to our clients. So for us, it's proving that inventory is more valuable in terms of brand advertising metrics than buying blind inventory against an audience on an open exchange.
So the tricky question, you will slightly have to bear with us here, because as any of you know, both myself and Robin here, you'll know that neither of us are technical people when it comes to this. So the absolutely
research people.
Or research people.
So technical research is probably not our forte.
Yeah, technical research is not yet either of our forte when it comes to this. But this is one of the things we're looking at here is, so how did you and how are we going to set about proving this value?
So, we talked about how to do this for a long period of time, and there isn't really any data that we could just take and analyse, so we had to start from scratch. So we started off putting together a methodology for a proof of concept study. We worked with Newsworks, we worked with news brands, we worked with a couple of other premium publishers, and we worked with a couple of external survey providers and research companies. We put together a methodology that we believe is robust enough to take to market. So we ran a study across 5 GroupM clients. We tagged 30 million impressions, which we believed was enough of a sample, obviously not massive. And we got the results back from that. So we were looking for a number of different things. We were looking at analysing on an individual impression basis people's interaction with the advertising on the page. We wanted to know how much time they were spending looking at it, what they were doing with it, if it was a video, how much of it they were consuming, alongside the basics of whether it was fully in view, not quite in view. We've got slightly more stringent viewability standards than the market as well, so we were measuring against the market and against our own GroupM standards. And then we were using a brand survey to an exposed and a non-exposed group to work out which of those had the most positive effect on the brand metrics that we were measuring. We then looked at that in 2 separate buckets of inventory, the GroupM Supply Marketplace, the premium inventory, and then inventory that we'd secured against an audience, but only bought against an audience, but on an open exchange with no consideration of quality of environment, just that it was brand safe.
So I guess I've got 2 questions to go with this. Is no one's ever done this before, and just from hearing that brief explanation of it, I'm guessing this isn't easy to kind of unpick and get to this point. But I guess the $60 million question from all of us in the proof of concept is, did it work?
Yeah, well, yes, it did.
Because we're sitting here and telling you
is the simple answer, because we're telling you about it. It did work. It was only 5 campaigns, so we're not going to get overexcited at the moment. But it gave us enough to be confident that we're on the right track. It gave us enough to be able to say, okay, we need to roll this out. We need to do it at a greater scale than we are at the moment, which is what we're planning at the moment. We will make some tweaks to the methodology, but fundamentally we saw that there was a more positive impact on brand metrics from quality inventory than there was from inventory that we sourced from an open exchange. So, the conclusion and the summary of the study is very, very straightforward. Getting to that summary, however, in a robust method was very, very challenging. So this all happened in March and April of this year. We got the results. We analysed the results. We put together some findings from it, and we took those back to Newsworks. So we're very happy to be able to say that together with Newsworks, we will be rolling out this study across 50 or so clients, across all of the GroupM agencies over the next sort of 6 to 8 months. We'll also be working with, I think, all the news brands with Newsworks, who will be putting inventory in to enable us to be able to scale that, to make it a proper, robust piece of research that we will share subjects to client requirements for what we can share and what we can't share, but we will share with Newsworks, but we're also happy to share it with the market as a whole. I think from my perspective, this is very much aimed at presenting the value of a quality environment and re-levelling, if you like, the playing field between the quality publishers and the tech platforms by demonstrating that you can create greater value within a quality environment than you can if you just ignore the environment at all.
Yeah, so I think we're incredibly excited to be partnering with GroupM on this, because I think these are facts and stats that we've all known and instinctively felt that this context of a quality environment does provide something for advertisers.
Yep.
But getting to that point, as we've heard this morning, getting to that point of proving it is hard. There's no guarantees that we'll get every answer that we want, or we'll be all happy with the answers we get out of this. It's always the way with a piece of research.
I think that's absolutely true. I think instinctively, and we're preaching to the converted in this room, obviously. I don't think anybody would disagree with that as a concept, but as Vanessa says, proving it is really, really difficult. We also want to try and get it to the stage where we can actually have some numbers that come out of it, so that we can use this as part of our trading conversations as well. So we're not just talking about delivery and audience and viewability and all the things we're talking about at the moment, but we add on quality. So when we're going to clients from a planning perspective, we can have a quality score, if you like, against the inventory that they're buying. Now that's really tricky, because that involves putting a quantitative number effectively on something that is very subjective. So how do you classify all of that? So that will happen as this research goes on. We'll start to look at the different environments, and we'll attempt to have a sort of automated quality score attached as well. But like I say, the overall objective is to prove to agencies and to clients that a quality environment will provide a better return on a client's investment than not for brand advertisers anyway.
Brilliant. And I think, as Robin said, as a partnership, this is going to be running for 6 to 8 months. What we're hoping to do with it, however, is you don't have to wait 6 to 8 months for us to come up with the final answer. So we're going to get going with this in August, hopefully. Yeah. And then sometime in the autumn, we should be able to come back and start sharing the initial insights and things that are coming out of it. So there'll be progress points along the way. But as I said, I'm thrilled and delighted that we're partnering with GroupM to do this. I think it's something in the industry we've wanted for a long time, and that it'll start giving us some, as I said, extra proof points around context, which is so important to proving effectiveness. That's it from me.
Great.
It was a quick announcement, because we've got no numbers for you yet, but we will do, so watch this space. Thank you.
Great. Thanks very much.